Tony, how are you?
I'm
Finally.
I know, it's so funny because we've been friends on Facebook, but we've never actually spoken together.
That's true. We've chatted.
Yes, we have. Prolifically sometimes, it seems.
Exactly.
Well, I can tell you, Dee and Sylvia both send you their love and their kind regards. And
wonderful.
Yes.
Send it back.
Yes, I will do. Well, they'll hear the interview. So it's good.
That's so nice.
Marilyn, would you like to say hi to all of our listeners on GloTIME Radio?
Hi, everybody. Lovely. Keep listening.
And just to fill you in a little bit, Marilyn lives in Los Angeles in California, and to say that Marilyn's in the music business would be like saying it snows in the North Pole. She's been in the music business and been a very, very prolific songwriter, composer, arranger, producer, just about every stage, I think.
True.
So I was reading about you when we first became friends with you a couple of years ago, and it goes right back to when you were 2.5 years old, Marilyn. Tell me about that.
Well, I was in Ripley's, believe it or not, at 2.5. And I was a musical quiz kid. And in Canada, in Toronto, I could identify over, I think it was 115 songs, hearing the first 3 notes.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I don't know about you, but I believe music comes from the soul. And clearly, to have that much talent at 2.5, it certainly was in your soul, Marilyn.
Well, there's a little picture that they took the picture from Ripley's, believe it or not. And I've taught for many years also piano. And my fingers were going on, my right hand was going on the black keys perfectly. I couldn't get over it because I've tried to teach 5- and 6-year-olds that didn't have the feeling of putting their fingers on the piano. And I had it at 2.5. It's something to me, it's a gift.
Yes, absolutely, it's a gift.
And I thank the stars and whatever it is.
Well, I believe that we're given talents when we're born, and I think that some people choose to use them. You and I certainly do. Some people don't, you know, they go through life, they don't ever use their talents.
Don't realize that it's a talent, you know. The talent doesn't just come. You can have the ability, but you have to work at it, and it takes an enormous amount of work, I think, really happens.
Yes, it does.
I mean, you don't sit back and say, oh, God, I'm talented.
No, you don't.
No, you work damn hard.
Yes, you do. You do.
And that's what it is.
But it's enjoyable hard work.
Absolutely.
So at what age then, Marilyn, did you determine that you were going to go into the music business?
Well, my mother was a professional musician, and I grew up with her, and she was like, I was always in the middle of some concerto or something like that, because I took classical piano for many, many years. And her thing was always to my teacher, well, why can't Marilyn ever play a song? But I could never play anything because I was always studying. She didn't understand that. And then when we'd have people over for parties or for Christmas or whatever, she'd sit down at the piano.
Did it put you off?
I grew up with that. I never thought that it was something that I was going to end up doing.
Really?
Exactly.
And yet look at what it's done for you, or rather, should I say, look at what you've done for music, all the things that you've been able to do.
So I was teaching and I was writing music, and my first song that was ever recorded was my biggest thing, multi-platinum Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams, Touching Me With Love.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like hitting the jackpot.
And I was there when they recorded it. And to hear my music played by 55 of the best musicians in Toronto, it was very, very exciting. It was 1978, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but you know, with music, some songs become classics.
All over the world.
Yes.
So if you get a good song, it's got legs, it's got, life to it.
Well, the other thing that I noticed, and I was talking about this to Martha High, who sang with James Brown for 30 years, and I said to her, a while ago you could look at the charts and you could see what was number 1, what was number 10, and now there's so many charts, it's kind of a blurred line between what is number 1 anywhere, or even if that's important. It's just what people listen to.
Very true.
So tell me about when you worked with Billy Preston.
Well, Billy, his manager was dating my manager. And we drove down to Newport one day and to meet Billy. And it was Billy and he said, okay, I've got this part of a song. And he sat down, and here I am, here I go, I'm falling in love again. And then I went, here with you. Anyway, I wrote the rest of the thing. So after that, we wrote a lot of songs, and he recorded some things of mine. So it was like closer to the end than the beginning. He was feeling like, he'd been at the top, and now he was kind of like, who's Billy Preston? No.
Yes.
He was everything,
But when you met him, you still managed to get some beautiful songs together.
Yes, we did, as a matter of fact. We titled that This Is Love, and I have a copy of it. Nobody's really heard it. It hasn't been on the radio or anything like that.
Well, shall we see if Sandy can play that on GloTIME Radio?
I'll see if I can do that. That would be great.
It would be lovely to hear one of your songs that probably nobody else or very few people have ever heard.
I've been holding on to it.
Well, it's time to let go of it now. You write music so that everyone can hear it, and they're going to hear this.
Well, that's the whole idea. I mean, I'm into music for making people happy, and that's a gift just to be able to do that.
Yes, it is. And the thing that I love is when a piece of music that you hear can take you back. It's like a snapshot. It's like looking at a photograph, because it takes you back to a moment in your life, whatever that moment is.
I think that the music has changed so much, and it's great to have those memories, but those memories come from younger years, I think.
Sometimes when I hear a piece of music, it touches your soul, Marilyn. You can't explain it.
Absolutely. What I found was that I would play a CD over and over and over and over, and then I wouldn't play it for years.
That's right. But you stayed in this.
When I came back to Toronto and gave up that part of my career, I decided that I was going to perform. So I worked my way up to the Polo Lounge in the Beverly Hills Hotel, which is the most famous
Yes,
place
of course it is.
there is. And I played for everybody in the world that is famous. So doing that, I did that for 6 years, and I was playing for about 20 years. And then I decided that I wanted to be back to my music again. So I've been doing that.
Yes, and you have your company, Emerald Lion Music.
Correct.
Now, do you do your own productions, Marilyn?
The song from the beginning to end is mine. The arrangement and the production.
So when you start to compose a piece, you can actually hear in your mind the different layers that are going to be on there, the different instruments.
Well, that's what I got from performing. I think, you play a song over and over and over how many times, and then it would get rusty, so I'd be changing keys, and I'd be doing all kinds of things, and I think I got my gift for that by doing it for so many years, and I had about a 5,000-song repertoire.
Oh, my goodness. That's a 3-inch or 4-inch thick book. And then, so how did you meet up with Denise Newton?
Denny and I met on Facebook.
You're kidding.
I am not kidding you. This is the funniest story. For a long time, she would be liking different posts, different videos I'd put on of my music, and she was liking. And we just kind of got familiar to each other. Mm-hmm. And one day, I said something, and she said, I'd like to try this song. And it's a song that's very close to my heart. It's called Imagine, and it's going to be on my next CD and her next CD. She did a great job on it. She bowled me over, so that's how we started. And she kept doing the demos, and then I said, okay, well, let's do a Christmas CD. So everything went from one thing to another, really.
Isn't that strange? And I got the impression that you two had known each other for years and years.
We're like sisters.
Yeah, but you were able to switch back to going into producing, and you made a very successful transition. A lot of people can't do that, Marilyn, can they? The high is too high and the lows are too low.
Well, it's been hard work. You don't start off at the top. To get the notoriety and to get the fame and to become well known, you have to work at it. And it's been fun. And right now I have the #1 song in the UK, Like a Summer Samba. It's been on the #1 for, I think, 7 weeks at K-Jazz.
I saw that. That's incredible.
And it's #2 at the Oasis in Palm Springs. And Denny is #2. Pretty exciting.
It is. The #1 and #2 spot. It's really fascinating. So what are you working on right now, Marilyn?
Well, I'm going to be going back to the studio, and I'm going to work on my next album. My first album was called Marilyn Plays Marilyns. And my second album will be Marilyn Plays Marilyn 2.
Okay.
Very original, right? It's basically a lot of the older, beautiful ballads that I'm very fond of.
Oh, that's great. And when will this come out, Marilyn?
Probably not till the spring or before summer, hopefully.
I had listened to your Christmas album last year, and I played a lot of those songs there at home. It was great. And I think, a Christmas album kind of has a lot of longevity because you can get it out every year,
Well, that's why I decided at the beginning that we would do a Christmas album, because I had the very same thought. And it gets played every year, and the more you do, the more you get out there. And I'm really excited that we are being picked up by Amsterdam right now. They're playing a lot of us, so
that's great. I see that you're a lover of cats.
I am.
How many cats have you got?
I have 4 right now.
4? What are their names, Marilyn?
Madison is the girl, and then the boys are Ripley. Ripley is on the cover of Marilyn Plays Marilyn. And Christopher, and then there's Oliver.
Okay.
So they're all Siamese. They're wonderful. I love them.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and I'll let
Tony, it's great talking to you, too.
And it's funny to actually be talking to you after we've been chatting on and off on Facebook. And, as you said, you can meet some very interesting people. You met Denny on Facebook.
And I met you.
Yeah, and you met me. I met you.
And I met Sandy and Dee.
Yes. Well, Marilyn, this is Tony Moore with GloTIME Radio talking to the very, very talented Marilyn Berglas. And we can't wait for your next album, Marilyn. Maybe spring towards summer next year. We'll be looking for it.
Absolutely.
And we'll be in touch about getting your Search for the Lost Song, the one that you've got at home that no one's ever heard. We'll get that played on Sandy Iliff's show.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. It's been a pleasure, been my absolute pleasure to talk with you.
I'm so happy to be talking to you, Tony.
Yes, and we'll speak again.
All right, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. This was Tony Moore, the US correspondent for GloTIME Radio, and my interview with the lovely and highly talented Marilyn Berglas, writer, producer, director of more than 150 musical productions. Checking out from GloTIME Radio. Bye-bye.